Hi, it's Jennifer Gibbons, and I wanted to record this training because I've done it in a few capacities, but never at large for everyone. And it is about expanding your network through your network. So before I get into how I do that through Facebook, I wanted to tell you how I do that through my current customer and or just acquaintance network. So you've probably seen the flyers for hostess rewards or different things that people have created, utilizing that to grow your warm market through your warm market and or through your current customers. So you guys know that we receive, we don't receive it, we earn free product. So a way that you can utilize that free product, one is obviously to pique interest of new people, but also it's to maintain your current customer base. And so utilizing a hostess reward program, essentially you're offering one of the products that you have as a reward for your current customer to get some of their friends and network together for you. And so essentially it depends on what you have to offer. I think you can cater the hostess reward program to whatever you want it to be. Whether you want to give them a full product, whether you want it to be aligned with a certain dollar amount or spend amount or whatever like other companies do. But the point of it is that your current customers and or friends who maybe don't want to do this business have an entire network outside of you. So oftentimes I hear people say that a market is saturated. Well, really it's just saturated within your circle of people. It's never truly saturated. It's not possible at this level of the game with Miriam. So a way to get outside of your circle is essentially to offer, and this is how I do it. So I say I'm launching a hostess rewards program. And if you've already done it, then you're maybe not launching it. But I'm launching a hostess reward program, and I thought of you first. I'd really like to offer whatever it is to you. All you have to do is get some of your friends together. I'll show up and do all the work. What do you think? Would you like to participate? And so obviously offering them something they've not tried or they're not using is probably more beneficial to them. And then what happens is when you come there with their friends, offering something more that's spend-based or attendance-based will encourage them to try to get people to show up so that you're not wasting your time, of course. And so you're going to do the party as normal and then get the orders per paper application. So when it's over, of course you will always show them the business because it would be silly not to. Like, look, you just did everything I do in this business and you would have XYZ amount of customers. Plus you would get paid and earn free product or whatever, and see if they're interested. If they're not interested, that's okay. I need my customers as well. So I'm happy to take those new customers on as my new customers, and then I can duplicate the process in the new customers. So, hey, just like you guys came to Celia's to support her as a customer, I'm offering the same thing to you. So I'll offer you blah, blah, blah. And then you're expanding your warm market through your warm market. So that's one way that I found to be able to do that. I didn't find it. That was a lie. Someone decided it a long time ago, like all the other companies that have hostess reward programs. Someone just really came up with how we could utilize it to our own businesses. I just like to personally utilize it to grow my warm market from my warm market is what I meant by that. Okay, so the next thing I do is through Facebook. And you can... Ann Sinsack actually came up with something called the 5 non-negotiables. And that probably sparked I know it definitely sparked my birthday messages and expanding my friend network and different things along the way. But basically, this is what I do on a daily basis to try to grow my market from my market, grow my warm market from my warm market versus, of course you want to go out and talk to people that you don't know and do all those different things and create relationships with new people. But because I'm in my house a lot, I had to come up with creative ways that I could use the tips and different things that people had given me to really grow my warm market from my warm market within my house. So I do that through Facebook. I'm going to share the screen just because I'm going to go through exactly what I do. Well, before I do that, the first thing I do in the mornings, I try anyways, is my Facebook posts are very methodical, meaning 90% of the time. So I post personal stuff to generate engagement, meaning I'm going to say something about my personal life, a picture of my kids, something that I like, something that I share, whatever, an interest. to promote engagement, because to be really honest with you guys, your Nerium posts are commercials No one likes commercials. And so you can't really expect to get tons of engagement from your Nerium post. However, if you have a lot of engagement from a personal post, the next post that you make automatically is more viewable to your audience. So I utilize my personal stuff to do that. So let's say I post a picture of my kids and I get engagement from that post. Well, one thing that you need to do is comment on the comments. So when you are, just think about it. If you went to look at a post right now that you've made that had a lot of comments, they count the number of comments. They include people who responded to the comments. Those are included in the amount of comments. So you responding to each comment with a comment ups the engagement level of that post. So I methodically do that. And when I have a high engaging personal post, my next post I make is Nerium. Now, it depends on who you are and how often you're posting. If you post all the time, then you post all the time. I do not post constantly all day long because I'm just not on Facebook like that. I prefer to be with my kids. But if you're on Facebook all day long, you may or may not be competing with yourself. I'm not going to compete with my own post by then posting something else, 30 minutes, an hour later. So I tend to use one post to try to up the engagement, and then the next post would be a Nerium post. So, but let's say I posted something last night and it wasn't highly engaging and there weren't a lot of likes or comments, and I'm going to go again with another personal post. Personally, that's what I do until I get more engagement, so that the next post I make would be Nerium. It's automatically seen by more of my audience because of that. So let's say I wake up in the morning and the last post I made was a personal post with a lot of engagement. Then the first thing on my list to do is a Nerium post, always. If it's a Nerium post, if that's the first thing on my list to do, then it is high priority for me. If my last post was a Nerium post, I try to do another personal post so that I can increase engagement again. So if I needed to post a personal post, I'm not necessarily as, I don't have the sense of urgency to get out a personal post like I do my Nerium post after I've had a high engagement, if that makes sense. So whichever one that is, that's what I do. If I needed to make the Nerium post, I do that. When I'm making a Nerium post, it's very clear if you go to my page what I'm more heavily lean toward, which are iPatches and Firm. But you really need to promote different products. I'm sorry, I can't speak. Promote different products, different age groups, different demographics, different races, different sexes, different whatever, because you're telling a story with those posts. That's the intention behind them, is to tell a story to connect with your audience in some way. Someone has to be able to see themselves in what you're posting. If I make an opportunity post, I don't make it about me so much as I make it about a story maybe about me, so that someone can connect to the story. So for example, you'll never see me post something like, yay, it's payday, thank you, Nerium. Instead, it's like, thank you, Nerium, for paying for my groceries, because someone can connect to that. What they hear when you just say, yay, it's payday, thank you, Nerium, is, okay, so you're looking at me to make money, which we all know is not true. So, but it's not about what you mean. It's how you make people feel. And perception is the reality in the moment. So you have to be careful with what perception you're putting out there. So more telling a story, time freedom, time with my kids, paying for a bill, paying for baseball, whatever, those different things are what connect people to the business more so than just a business post, if that makes sense. So I'm telling a story with one of those things. Another tip that you could do, and I think this came from Kira Schnesh, she's an NMD. I think that what she does is post one product the whole week. So let's say that this week is Firm. I'm going to post Firm every day this week for any Nerium post that I make. And simply because a very tiny percentage of your audience actually sees your post anyways. So it's very unlikely that the same people are seeing each post anyway. So basically you're kind of knowing that you're going to knock out somebody seeing Firm, a bigger percentage of your audience seeing Firm if you do all Firm posts for 1 week and then you switch to a new product. So there's different ways around that, but the general concept is high engagement. And then the post that follows that is going to automatically be viewable by more people. So that's the first step. Then I'm going to share my screen now. Then I go to birthdays, even though I don't even know how to get to my screen. Hold on. No one ever said you have to really understand technology to do well in this. Okay. So then I go to birthdays. So a lot of times I do birthdays from my phone, to be quite honest, but I'm going to do them through here just for the purpose of you being able to see them. Okay, so birthdays is right here. On your phone, I don't know, because I can't see this screen. I don't know if you can see that screen, but I think you can. So from your phone, I can't see myself, so I don't know what you're seeing. Hang on. There we go. Hang on. well, never mind. I can't. I'm going to have to minimize this to be able to see what you are. Okay, here. So from your phone, whoops, I just clicked on someone's live. From your phone, you're going to go to these little 3 lines, and then it says events, and you click on events. I just clicked on friends. You click on events, and then you're going to have to go to your calendar, and then in red, I don't know if you can see, in red are your birthdays. So if you click on it, or right underneath that, I'm sorry, it's going to list all the people whose birthday it is. Okay, so however you go there. So you can see I did this morning. Let me move this over so you can see. So if they're a Nerium person, I post on their timeline because, and sometimes I actually forget to do that. So if you're in Nerium, I'm very sorry if I forgot your birthday. But I post on their timeline because, of course, I want to tell them happy birthday, and I'm already building the relationship through the actual business. My intention in Facebook is building relationships and building connections. So, and then, of course, generating interest as well. So anyone who's not a Nerium person, or if I'm not 100% certain. So like, for example, she used to be in Nerium, okay, but she's not anymore. I'm sure she would love for herself to be on this thing. So then for these people, I go to message them, and I send a message. And so I did not actually ask her a question, I don't think, no. I just said, hi, Joyce, hope all is well with you. Happy birthday. Because I'm not trying to necessarily rebuild a relationship. However, her daughter, who was also, sorry, hang on. I messaged her. I don't know if I asked a question. Typically I ask typically I ask a question to engage conversation is what I'm trying to do. Yeah, so I just said, how are you? Trying to engage conversation. But normally if it's someone who is not in Nerium or never has been in Nerium, which I really didn't have any of those today, they've all either been in Nerium before or whatever. So I will ask a question. So like, how old are your kids now? Where are your kids going to school? Where are you working now? How are things? You know, how's your mom? How's whatever? I try to ask a question at the end. So I'm saying happy birthday through Messenger because A, they're more likely to see it and respond. B, once someone is engaging with you in Messenger, they automatically see your feed more often. And so I engage through Messenger with that, but then I try to leave it with the question so that I can engage in conversation. And that is simply relationship building. That is not because my next sentence is going to talk to them about Nerium. It's totally just so I can say, I'm trying to build that relationship. So when I do circle back around or ask somebody for a sample or ask them if they want a sample or invite them to a party or do whatever, it doesn't look so awkward and weird like I haven't talked to them in 20 years and I just invited them to a party, which seems very impersonal. And again, it's not about what you say, it's about how you make people feel. And so if you've connected to them before, it's not as awkward and it's not as it seems a lot more genuine when you're actually inviting them to something. I'm not saying that every person I wish happy birthday to am I ever talking to about Nerium, but if I ever do, at least I have rebuilt a relationship with people or started a relationship with people, because this is relationship marketing. Okay, so the next thing I do, which I already clicked off of this and I don't know why, is I go to their friends and I try to connect to more people. So my goal is adding 5 new friends a day. So you don't have to do it through your birthdays. This is just how I do it so that I don't have to think so hard. From your phone, it's a little bit easier because it'll actually say, let me just show you. Like if I go to Joyce for my phone and I go to her friends, it says all mutual and suggestions. So I can click on suggestions and it's automatically people with mutual friends that I can friend request that way. From here, from the desktop, you don't have that option. So it doesn't give you mutual friend suggestions, but that's what I do. And then if they have to have at least 3 mutual friends for me to request them. I try to look for people I actually do know that I just am not connected to yet. But I do try to connect to people from my connections, and I'm aiming for 5 new people a day, because a lot of times what I find is like it's a high school friend or a college friend that are connected to other high school or college people that maybe I was not connected to, that I just like simply friend request them. And then you'll see in your messenger when people accept your friend request. Okay. So I've made my post, whichever it is. I've said happy birthdays. I've connected to people. Then I go to, this is my engagement relationship building portion of it. I go to friend list. So you can create a friend list. So let me tell you this too, because I used to be really weird about adding people on Facebook, and I didn't add people on Facebook that I didn't know for a very, very long time in this business, because I share everything about my children, and it's just, it's a little vulnerable, I guess. Now I'm just a lot more vulnerable, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that's a smart thing or not, but so let's say, for example, you don't want people, like the people that you're connecting to that you don't necessarily know through mutual friends. You can create a list and call it whatever you want to call it, people I don't know. And then as people accept your friend request, when you go, I'll show you how you do this. So when you go to them, you can add them to this list of people you don't know. And then I'll show you how you can post things except for the people you don't know, or only to the people you don't know, or whatever. So for me, I have a non-Miriam friends list. And oddly, I didn't start this till way farther down in my business. So what happens for me is if I see someone, when I'm scrolling through, if I see someone, I'm like, ooh, they're not Miriam, I make sure I add them to this list. So what happens when I click on this list is I only see the people in this list. I only see their, well, that's nice. I only see their post. So that way I am interacting and liking and commenting on people's posts that are not in Miriam, so that I'm relationship building with them. Because we all know that when someone likes or comments on your post, you notice a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, you remember, you think, oh, they like my kids or whatever. I mean, you do notice those kinds of things. So you are, in essence, partially building a relationship by doing that. Plus, because you're seeing their stuff, a lot of times they'll see yours and or re-engage in your stuff as well. It just kind of opens up that dialogue. So I do that. So let's say that I only want to post something to this group. When I'm in this friend list, at the top up here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever, I'm going to post. If I only want these people to see it, it shows me that it's going in the news feed only to the non-Miriam friends. Okay, so it's really easy to see. They will be the only people who see this post. Now, the flip side of that is when I'm in my regular news feed, and maybe I don't want my non-Miriam friends to see it. I don't know what for, but whatever. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. This is my news feed and it's public. So I'm going to say my news feed. Except, oh, look at all these random people that are in here. Okay, so I can find a list. So maybe I want to say non-Miriam. So I'm going to look for this list. I can add this list and save changes. So this is going to go on my news feed for all friends except for all these people that are listed here because of all the things I've done. So it'll show it to everyone but those people. So the same thing, this is also very helpful if there's like someone that you work with that can't know that you do this or whatever. You can create groups and put those people in it and exclude them from these posts. So that's how you can exclude like the people you don't know from things maybe more personally related to you. So then the last thing I wanted to show you is when someone is not a Miriam friend, or whatever, when there's somebody that you want to add to one of those lists. So just because I know who is, and I don't think I have her on a list, I'm going to go to her. So from their personal page, you go to friends. Whoops. Now I can't click off this because my head's in the way. Hold please. You go to friends and add to another list. Oh, she's already there. Okay. So non-Miriam friends, I would click it. It would add her to that list automatically. So that when I go to that list and scroll through it on a daily basis, I'm going to see anything that she posts. So hopefully that helps you kind of see ways that I use my personal network to expand my personal network. It's not rocket science. It's not new. I didn't even come up with most of it, but it's something that I definitely do regularly to try to promote connections, and then also that hostess reward program or whatever you'd like to call it, to try to become friends of my friends' friends. Because really what triggered it for me was a neighbor who is a very big supporter of me but doesn't want to do this business yet. I always say that. I noticed on Facebook that we had 2 mutual friends, and it was, or maybe even 1 mutual friend, and it was like a neighbor, and that was it. So all of her friends, I don't know and I'm not connected to. So that was my first insight of, wait a second, I need to use my network to connect to my network. before I go out and just try to meet a bunch of people I've never met in my life on my own. I'm going to use the people that I already know in my life. And then the same is true of Facebook. So instead of randomly soliciting or randomly adding people or randomly reaching out and having no connection to them whatsoever, which makes them feel like they're a sale to me, I'm trying very hard to be intentional about building relationships through my network and adding new people into my network and building those relationships and fostering the time to spend on those. And then utilizing a methodical way of posting so that I'm not competing with myself, that I'm utilizing my personal interest to excite or create engagement, and then hammering it home with a Nerium post right after so that more people, it will be visible to more people. Utilizing different product posts, different demographics, all those different things. And then another last tip, and I don't know if I got it from Ashley or Angela or whomever, but I was already in groups. I just wasn't super active. And so I did become members of different groups. So you can become a member. I would recommend becoming a member of at least 2 groups if you're on Facebook, so that it's something that you have an interest in. And just be very mindful that they're not always accurate, because I'm in some and I'm like, what are they even talking about in here? I've joined a mother's group that was awful. They were so mean to me. I left that one. So you'll find your right fit. But if you have an interest, like I'm a Hashimoto's, I'm in several actually Hashimoto's groups, just different things for things that connect to you, an interest that you have, a characteristic of you, a commonality of you, and join groups. And then of course you don't solicit Nerium in those groups. And for most of those, it's you're not allowed to do that anyways. But if you're very active in that group, think about our regular like team Facebook groups. The people that are active in there, you know who they are. You become acquainted to or feel like you know the people who are active in those groups and feel like you don't know the ones who aren't. So the same thing's going to happen in these groups for you. You're going to be the one that's more engaging in the post and maybe even making your own post so that people know who you are and then will connect to you as a friend outside of the group, and then we'll inadvertently see the other things that you post about your business. So that's another way to build your network inside your network or inside the platform of Facebook. So I hope that you guys found this helpful, and that's all. So thanks so much. Bye-bye.